At this point, you've probably heard the news by now. 12-time world champion Ken Climo is having a company built around him and his legacy, and they're letting him spearhead the effort to develop and test every disc in the lineup. We arranged to meet up with Ken at Discraft headquarters in Michigan to see him throw the lineup in person and talk a bit more about this new chapter of his life.
I watch these videos of you not just disc golfing, but when you are just playing catch and enjoying other people's company in the community, there is a youthful joy you can tell, a passion for the flight of a disc. What does the disc itself mean to you, and why do you love it so much?
I think it takes you back, kind of when you were a kid and you made a paper airplane. You liked creating flight. I think it's all humans liked creating flight. You throw a stone in a lake or whatever it may be. We make a paper airplane, it flies, it's cool. But now you've got this disc, and you can create shapes with the disc. You can make it do all sorts of different things. You can roll it on the ground. You can make it go high, left to right, right to left, and you can skip them. And it's just kind of almost like an artwork with a flight that you can create yourself. And I think anybody who enjoys this sport knows what I'm talking about, and anybody who doesn't know about this sport should start creating these different artworks of flight and skip and roll and find out for themselves how beautiful it can be. And it's something you can do by yourself or with other people, or with another group of people, with your kids, with your parents. It's so all-inclusive that I just love it. I love it. I love it.
We're sitting here in Wixom, Michigan, in the Discraft factory. I don't think that was on a lot of people's bingo cards for you. But now you have all these people that are coming around you to build a company based off of your legacy. How does that feel at this point in time?
It feels like a fairy tale almost at this point in time. I've been involved with the sport for 37 years now, and was involved with NoMez Champion Disc for the better part of that, 34, 35 years at this point. And it just, like I said, it's almost like a dream that this opportunity was afforded to me by the people at Discraft. And it's kind of something that in the back of my mind, I've always wanted to, kind of be more involved in the shaping of the disc, the feel of the disc, the flight.
What was your initial reaction like? How did that go down?
I think my initial reaction was, this sounds too good to be true. And he said, well, it's not. And one of my initial reactions was, well, I want to give Innova their fair shake and, be upfront with them, transparent, tell them what's going on. I went to them with it, and they never came back to me with any rebuttal or offer or anything.
Yeah.
And they just basically said no.
Was it a shock when they brought this to you? When they said, hey, you've done enough in your career, it's time that you get to sit back and do what you truly love to do? It
was a jaw dropper, really. It really was. To be respected so much by what I feel was the rival company of the company that I played for so many years. If you look back at the old world championships, a lot of people that took second place to me in those worlds were Discraft sponsored players. And for that company to come to me with this just shows me the respect that they had for me and the disc golf world essentially has for me.
When you stopped competing, for a multitude of reasons, you were removed from the disc golf world for a little bit. Did you like the time away, or did it eat you up inside when you had to kind of step away for a bit?
I think at first it ate me up a little bit inside because that's all I'd known for 30 plus years. And, I had a passion to go out and compete. But as I had more time off and was able to spend more time with my family and do more things as a father should do and be there all those times I needed to be there for my children that I wasn't for my older child, Keegan. I wasn't there as much for him because I was out traveling the world playing tournaments, and it made me appreciate, you know, being the at-home father and being there in the time of need and being there for the recitals and the band things and stuff like that. It, you know, it really made me appreciate what I missed with him.
Would you be able to tell the story about the skin cancer on the face and what you were going through at that time?
Yeah, it was right about 2018. It was a bit of a mole appeared next to my nose, and my brother had one for quite a many years that I remember that wasn't cancerous, and I just thought it was maybe a Climo trait to have that mole appear later in life because his appeared later in life. And so I just kind of let it go for a little too long before, you know, investigating what was going on with it. And then come to find out it was basal cell carcinoma. And it went from being a mole to being a crater. So I had to have facial facial rearrangement surgery. They had to cut me from my ear all the way to my nose and then all the way down to here. Basically cut the bad areas out, do pathology to make sure there was no more the basal cell in there, and then move my skin over into that and sew it back together. And that was with 0 grafts, 0 plastic surgery whatsoever. It was the cheapest route to go. I had to go that way because I didn't have the money or the insurance at the time to go any other direction. So that's how it came out looking like this. I lost a piece of my nostril right here, got a little extra bump coming down off my face, but all in all, I'd say not too bad for what it was and what it was looking like. And
during that time, was there a lot of fear when you were discovering that? And then on the other side, was there a silver lining? Is there a newfound outlook, a gratitude?
There was a little bit of fear, yes, but the doctors told me that there was the type of thing that didn't really want to spread to other portions of the body. It would stay generally local to where it was. I just let it get too bad, too long, not knowing that it was cancerous. And that's why it ended up being as bad as it was. It was kind of partly my fault for not going in and having it checked out. Yeah. And as far as scared, yeah, well, I was a bit scared when there was a giant crater here. And that's kind of when I was away from the disc golf community for a long time. I didn't want to show my face out there. My teeth were getting bad. It wasn't a time to be on camera for me. It was a time I needed to be off camera and alone and by myself and with family and not in front of the public eye.
Yeah.
I think it just all worked out to where everything came together at the right point. I got all my teeth ripped out of my head. I got all new teeth put in. They're all fake, but they're awesome. It took about a year to get used to them a bit, but now they feel like they've been there forever.
New chapter.
Yeah.
What are you most excited about in this new chapter?
I think just, being involved in the sport again and having taken, 7 or 8 years off and not being involved at all and being involved in a different manner, a different avenue, a different, side of the sport. I think it's got a lot of cool possibilities for what can happen, and in playing it was, there was only one thing that happened. I'd go to tournaments and I'd play. This is a lot of different things can happen. I can sponsor events. I can, sponsor players and things of that nature if, we become successful enough to achieve those things.
Talk about the company that's being built around you. It's not just you out here designing these discs and molding these discs and getting them out there. Talk about the people that you've gotten to work with on this project and how that experience has been.
Well, the company is obviously Discraft, who's made this offer for me to come into their fold and create a brand around my legacy. And Bob Julio is the catalyst of making that happen. We had a conversation last year at the first DGPT event of the year, the chess.com Invitational, I believe it was. And he came down to Clearwater. We got to play my home course, Cliff Stevens. We played the gold layout, which is a little tougher, a little more teeth than your average layout there in Clearwater. And we sat down on a bench afterwards and had a nice little chat for a couple hours, and he kind of laid out the details of the plan and the what he wanted to do and what I could do to help. And that's when I think I said it before, this all sounds too good to be true, but I'm on board. My ears are open, I'm listening, and I'm willing.
What is your goal with this brand? I'm sure you're still in talks about like where you want to go with this whole thing, but what are your initial goals?
Well, initial goals are, to make a good disc that's going to last. It's going to have some integrity. It's going to stay in your bag for a while. It's a disc that you're going to want to throw. You're going to pull out on a lot of holes, stuff like that. I want to make a solid putter, like really good putter, because that's how you finish the hole. That's how you score. That was, the baseline. Everything works off the putter, because that's your scoring disc. Right now, we're gonna stay with 4 or 5 base models, and I think a lot of people are really gonna like a few of those for sure.
One of the things I really wanted to accomplish when I made this trip up to Michigan was actually getting to hold the discs and throw them with Ken and listen to him talk about what he wants them to fly like. I rented some space at an indoor soccer facility nearby, and we got to do exactly that.
We got 4 prototype molds that you're going to walk me through. I want you to show me the full capabilities of how these things fly. We have the putter first. What do we have here, and what were you going for?
Well, we were going for a putter that's got some good torque resistance, some integrity, doesn't want to fall off to the right for a backhand and right-hand thrower. We want some of this, it's got some meat to it, Very good for putting too. It's got seems like a lot of weight in the rim, so it'll be really good for putting. You can feel the weight of it as you go forward. And we were just looking for something you can throw hard, and have some torque resistance on it, have some integrity out there on the course, and battle a little headwind maybe even with a putter.
Yeah. Well, we have 2 different plastics as well. We have a softer and a harder plastic you're coming out with.
Correct. One's just a little more pliable in this manner. Stick your thumb into it a little deeper, and one of them's a little stiffer, for those people that like the stiffer putter. I think the softer one will work good in the colder conditions and stuff like that, and the stiffer one will probably be good for really hot conditions, when the plastic will heat up and get a little softer.
Take it away. Show us how it's done.
All right. I'm gonna throw this first one about 75%, maybe just a touch of anhyzer on it. Try and get it to go straight towards that soccer goal. Not full power. I'm gonna throw this one a little bit higher, out to the left more with a little more anhyzer, and see if we can get it to ride over. These are pretty torque resistant, so I'm gonna have to get over on this one. This one's also gonna be about 75%. Nice straight finish on those. This one I'm gonna throw it a little bit harder. I'm gonna throw it just a touch of hyzer. Try and get it to ride the line straight away, maybe 85%.
Pretty finish.
Very straight flying discs. They have a solid, trustworthy finish on them, and I think you're gonna like them for throwing and putting. I think they're gonna be great.
Mid-range, flat, it's got a bead on the bottom of it. Talk to us about this. What are you going for stability-wise?
Once again, we want this thing to have some integrity to it. We don't want it to be flipping into those headwinds. We want it to be able to throw fairly straight down a hallway. So we want the best of both worlds. We don't want it to be too much on the hyzer side of things, and we don't want too much on the anhyzer side. And we want to be able to throw it hard and trust it to finish a little bit left if you're a right-handed backhand thrower. And we have a base plastic model. We have a premium plastic model. The base plastic model, you can be able to beat it up a little quicker and make it start flipping, and riding and staying straight at the end. These are all brand new, obviously, so they're going to want to finish a little more left than once you've used it for a year or so and worn it in a little bit, got some seasoning on it. Yeah. We'll start out with the base plastic model. I'm going to throw this, maybe 85, 90%. And give it a touch of anhyzer because they're brand new and they're really overstable. Hold that for me and I'll
take it away.
Check this base plastic model out. came out of its anhyzer kind of quickly. And this is the premium plastic model, which I'd say is a tick or two more stable, overstable than that one. So we're gonna try and get this one over a little bit and maybe throw it a little bit harder. See if I can keep it over. Go! This is a pearly blend of the premium plastic. Should have about pretty similar stability as that other premium plastic one. And this time I'm just going to go for a smooth hyzer down the right side, have it turn left at the end.
Do it again. Oh, close.
I saw some net.
Nice. Ken, so we have a fairway driver here. This is an interesting one because it seems like you guys are kind of tweaking it. The mold has changed a little bit, but you're nearly satisfied. So what do we have?
Yeah, it's maybe just a touch faster than your average fairway driver. I think these are going to be a 10-ish on the speed. The first ones were fairly flat here on the bottom, and they were just a tad more understable than we were looking for in the beginning. Really good with a tailwind type thing, but they didn't have too much integrity into a decent headwind. And then we added a little bump here at the bottom to try and give it a little bit more stability. But I think your lesser arm speed, lesser disc speed players are going to really love this disc. You can throw it out there with a little bit of hyzer and it's going to flip up for you and then hold a line pretty nice, and even maybe get a little anhyzer and hold that ante line for you. These are very user-friendly discs. Higher arm speed guys, you know, you may want to put a lot of bit of hyzer on this thing and throw it in some tailwind, but these things are really juicy flyers. They sizzle.
Well, let's throw some of the older run prototypes and then show us what the newer ones are flying like.
Okay. Try and pop this out there, I don't know, 75, 80%. Give it a 15 degrees of hyzer and hopefully she'll turn up and burn for us. And this one is it's just a tick more stable. It's not a whole lot more stable, just a tick. It's not gonna have that mid-flight turnover as much, but I think you can put a little bit more power into this one and achieve the same result if you've got the speed. This one we're gonna throw same speed, you know, maybe 80%. I'm gonna try and get it a little higher and get a little more flip and ride out of this one.
That's such a juicy flight. That's so nice. All right, last disc. I'm really excited about this one. This is a distance driver. It's got such a nice feel in the hand. What's the goal with this one?
This one is for your big arm boys, you know, your high speed guys. You're gonna be able to really torque on this disc and have it show its colors. It's gonna come back. This thing does not want to turn. It does not want to have a high speed turn on it at all. It wants to fight out of it right from the beginning, right as soon as you let it go. I mean, that's me. I'm only probably throwing about 60, 65 miles an hour. Some of these guys throw 80. That might do a little bit different for them, but I'd imagine it's going to have very good torque resistance for anybody who throws it, no matter what your arm speed is. And it's going to have a solid finish. It's going to have a little bit of a skip at the end, and it's online with any of the best distance drivers out there these days.
Show us.
This one we're gonna have to throw these a little bit firmer, because if you don't throw them firm, man, they want to peel out to the left. So like I said, these are for the big boys here, and we're gonna give this probably 15, 20 degrees of anhyzer and maybe 85, 90% of my power I got here. Got there quick. Like straight into the wall quick. That was, I released that a little late, and I had a little bit more ante than I wanted to, but it still was panning. And normally with a disc of that might have turned over too much if I did that on other discs of this caliber for me. So we're gonna try the same type of shot and get it out to the left this time and a little higher. Boy, it's getting there so quick. All right, this one I'm gonna change the angle a little bit. I'm gonna just throw it low and dead straight this time. We're gonna see it finish left with a bit of a skip, I would imagine. Well, it can't skip if it hits the net first. I'm gonna throw this one much lower and make it skip. I'm gonna try and not fly it as far. See what kind of ground action. I don't know what kind of ground action it's gonna get off this turf, but it should skip. Oh yeah. That's nice. The thing had a going skip, not really like a losing distance kind of skip. It was a going skip, which is kind of neat for that speed of a driver.
I got a question for you. We just tested out your lineup. I want to throw some. How enjoyable has this process been? Just getting discs, testing them, getting to put your DNA into these discs.
Man, it's a breath of fresh air for me. I've been involved with the sport for so long, and I've never really been involved in this process. In my other past endeavors, it wasn't like this, and I wasn't as involved in the making of the disc and the feel of the disc and the flight of the disc and things like that. And this is really where I want to be with it, and this is my next phase in disc golf, and it's awesome. It's just great to be a part of it, and I'm so happy that Discraft approached me and wanted to make this happen.
Do you still feel like a perfectionist right now, or are you still getting your feet wet in the process of testing and designing and making adjustments?
Oh, my feet are soaking wet for sure. This is all new grounds for me, as far as being as deep into the process of designing the disc, making the disc, the feel of the disc, the flight of the disc, and it's a whole new can of worms for me, and I like it. I think it's really cool, and it's something that I can really sink my teeth into now, or my primetime playing days are over, and maybe I can make a different mark on the sport in a different way than just how I played and how I finished in tournaments.
Outside of product goals for your company, I know how much the disc golf community means to you, and I know that now that you're getting involved on a higher level again, you probably want to give back a lot more. What are goals on the course, not with the equipment?
I think to fully grasp what it takes to be the best or the greatest and consistently come out better than not, you have to have that passion. And I would like to inspire some passion in the future generation of disc golf.
The passion seems like it's very back for you. I could see how much fun you were having talking to me about these discs and showing me what they're capable of. Do you agree with that? Do you feel like the passion for throwing is just all the way back for you?
Yeah, I fully agree with that, and I wish my body would cooperate more for me, because then I could show how much my passion's back a little more to the outside world, and play some tournaments and do some more clinic type things and not be in fear of hurting myself in the long run.
When I listen to you talk about discs, and when I listen to you talk about the ones you're designing, you talk about them in such detail, really endearing to listen to. Did you have any discs over the course of your career? You said you had some in the bag for 15 years sometimes, that you did have a special bond with, and what did those discs fly like and do for you?
Well, I had this special mid-range that all my competitors like to refer to as the remote control. It would do anything I asked of it. Throw it with hyzer, and I could keep it on hyzer and make it go where I wanted to the left. If I wanted to throw it straight, I could make it go dead straight. If I wanted to throw a little anhyzer and get it to cruise to the right a little bit, it was just the perfect broken in mid-range that kind of did what I asked of it. And it was probably one of my favorite discs of all time to throw. And I threw it on the last hole of the 1998 World Championships and put it very close to the basket where it was a tap-in putt. I went up there, used it to tap in because it was so close, didn't need my putter. Left it in the basket for a second, got mobbed by the crowd, got thrown in a lake, and went back after I got out of the lake, got dried off a little bit, went to go back and retrieve my disc, and it was gone. It wasn't in the basket anymore. Someone had stolen it. And a little piece of my heart went with that disc. My heart was broken. I loved that disc.
Are you ever going to try designing discs that match the stability of those discs that you love so longingly?
Yeah, I think we're on to the mid-range with the base plastic model that you can, it'll chunk up and it'll beat up a little bit and become a little more workable in all angles. I think is going to be near to that disc for sure. Beyond that, there was many special discs that I threw throughout the years, but I don't think any as special as that one.
As the remote control. Well, Ken, here's to you designing another remote control. Congratulations, and really anything else you feel like you want to say to the people who are excitedly listening to you talk about this new project. What do you have to say?
Well, I'd like to say to the people that they need to come out and check out some Climo disc golf discs and give them a try. I think you're going to love them.